He hired a fake wife just to save his reputation at his sister's wedding. But what happened that night shocked everyone in the hall. A hidden betrayal, a dangerous secret, and a woman whose kindness changed the heart of a billionaire. Was this only a fake marriage? Or the beginning of a love that would change his entire life forever? Stay with this story because the truth revealed at the end will leave you speechless. Before we dive into this incredible story, do not forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss our powerful life-changing content. I grew up where the nights were louder than dreams, a leaking roof, an empty refrigerator, a mother who smiled while hiding hunger. I promised myself one thing. One day I would become powerful enough that poverty would never touch my family again. Years passed in sweat and sleepless nights. I washed dishes, delivered packages, studied business under dim streetlights. By 30, I had built a company from nothing. People called me a billionaire. But wealth has a strange silence. The larger my office became, the emptier my life felt. My sister was getting married. A beautiful ceremony. Thousands of guests. Business partners watching my every move. And one uncomfortable question followed me everywhere. Where is your wife? I had none. Image mattered in my world. So I did something foolish. I hired a woman to pretend. Just for one day. Just for the wedding. Her name was Sarah. She arrived wearing a simple blue dress. No diamonds. No arrogance. Only calm eyes and quiet dignity. During the ceremony, she noticed something I missed. My exhausted mother standing alone near the kitchen. Sarah walked to her gently. She held her hands, served her food, sat beside her like a daughter who had always belonged there. I watched from across the hall. Something inside my chest shifted. For years I had been surrounded by ambitious people, but kindness like hers was rare. Later that night, a business partner approached me with a smile that felt sharp. He whispered something that froze my blood. He knew the marriage was fake, and he was ready to destroy everything I had built. I felt the same fear I once felt as a poor boy standing in the rain at my empire. My reputation. My sister's wedding, all hanging by a fragile thread. Sarah looked at me quietly. Her eyes were calm, braver than mine. Then she said something that changed the direction of my life forever. She stepped closer to me and said softly, "If truth is the only thing you protect, no one can truly destroy you." Her words were simple, but they struck my heart like thunder. For years I had protected my wealth, my reputation, my company, but I had forgotten to protect honesty. The businessman approached again, smiling like a hunter who already saw victory. He said he would expose everything in front of the guests. My hands felt cold. My chest tightened. But Sarah did something unexpected. She walked calmly to the stage. Hundreds of guests turned their eyes toward her. The wedding hall grew quiet. My heart began to race faster than ever before. Then she took the microphone. Her voice was steady, warm, and fearless. She said she wanted to share a small truth about our story. I stood frozen, unable to move. I believed my empire was seconds away from humiliation. But Sarah smiled gently at my mother first. Then she looked at the guests and spoke with dignity. She said that life sometimes brings two strangers together in unusual ways. Sometimes people begin with an arrangement, but kindness can turn an arrangement into something real. The room remained silent. The businessman who threatened me looked confused. Then Sarah turned toward me. Her eyes held something deeper than courage. There was faith in them, faith that I had not felt from anyone in years. She reached for my hand. Her fingers trembled slightly, but she did not pull away. Then she said something that stunned everyone in the hall. She said that she believed I was not only a successful man, she believed I was a good man who had simply forgotten his own heart. Those words pierced deeper than any accusation. For the first time in years, I felt exposed without my armor of power. Guests began whispering quietly. The tension in the hall thickened. The businessman was waiting for my collapse. But Sarah stepped even closer beside me. Her voice lowered so only I could hear. She whispered that real success is not measured by billions. It is measured by the people who stand beside you when everything is at risk. In that moment I realized something painful and beautiful at the same time. All my wealth had built walls around me, but her kindness was quietly breaking them down. And just as I was about to say something that would change both of our lives forever, At that moment, the doors of the wedding hall suddenly opened. A tall man in a black suit walked inside with slow, confident steps. My heart tightened again. I recognized him immediately. He was my former business partner. The man who betrayed me years ago. The man who once tried to steal the company I built with sleepless nights and sacrifice. He walked forward while the guests whispered in confusion. His cold eyes moved from me to Sarah. Then he smiled in a way that carried old poison. He said loudly that today was a beautiful day for truth. The hall became silent again. I felt the same old anger burning inside my chest. Years ago, his betrayal almost destroyed me. I had rebuilt everything from the ashes of that failure. But seeing him again reopened wounds I believed had healed. Sarah slowly tightened her grip on my hand. Her touch was warm and steady. She whispered that fear only grows when we run from it. Her calm courage felt stronger than my billions. The man stepped closer and pulled out his phone. He said he had proof that tonight's marriage was a lie. Several guests leaned forward nervously. My sister looked worried. My mother looked confused. The fragile happiness of the wedding hung in the air like glass ready to shatter. For a brief moment I considered begging him to stop. But Sarah looked at me again. There was quiet strength in her eyes. Strength that reminded me of the hungry boy I once was. The boy who promised his mother he would never surrender. Slowly I stepped forward beside Sarah. The microphone was still in her hand. The hall was waiting. My enemy was smiling with confidence. And I realized that the next words I spoke would decide not only my reputation, but the future of the woman who had just defended my soul in front of everyone. I took a deep breath and raised my head. For the first time in years, I decided not to hide behind power or money. I stepped toward the microphone slowly. The hall was so quiet that I could hear the faint sound of glasses trembling on the tables. My former partner waited with a proud smile. He believed he had already won. I looked at the guests, then at my sister standing in her wedding dress. Her eyes were full of worry. Then I looked at my mother, the same tired woman who once worked 2 jobs so I could study. Shame touched my heart like a sharp blade. All my life I had fought to protect my family from humiliation. Yet tonight I had created the very situation that could embarrass them. Sarah still stood beside me. She did not move away. She did not show fear. Her quiet loyalty gave me courage I did not know I still had. I finally spoke. I said that the man standing in front of them was correct about one thing. This marriage had begun as an arrangement, a simple agreement for one evening. Soft murmurs spread through the guests. My enemy lifted his phone proudly as if victory had already arrived. But I continued speaking before he could interrupt. I said that wealth sometimes makes a man forget the value of truth. And tonight I had almost allowed fear to control my choices again. The businessman frowned slightly. He did not expect calm honesty. I looked toward Sarah. Her eyes were filled with quiet encouragement. I said that this woman beside me had reminded me of something far more important than reputation. She reminded me of dignity, of kindness, of courage that money cannot buy. The hall grew even quieter. My former partner lowered his phone slightly. Then I said something that surprised even myself. I said that sometimes the most honest moment of a life appears in the middle of a mistake. And tonight I was about to make a decision that would change everything. I looked at Sarah and felt a calm strength rising inside me. For years I believed success was built only with money, power, and control. But standing beside her, I understood something deeper. True success begins with courage and honesty. I turned toward the guests and spoke clearly. I said that yes, this marriage had started as a simple arrangement, but life sometimes surprises the heart in the most unexpected ways. When Sarah cared for my mother without knowing anyone was watching, something inside me changed. In that quiet moment I saw a kind of wealth greater than anything I owned. A wealth of kindness, dignity, and love. My former partner tried to interrupt, but the guests were no longer listening to him. They were listening to truth. I gently took Sarah's hand. Her fingers trembled slightly, yet she did not pull away. I said that I had built companies worth billions, but I had almost lost the most valuable thing a man can have. A good heart beside him. The hall remained silent, waiting.